Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to this match reaction of Leeds United versus Manchester United. Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome here to this celebration reaction show of another 3 points gained by Manchester United in a weekend where other top four rivals lost points. I'm joined, of course, by OMONDI Juma, who's on the watch along with Mr. B, and I can still see he's grinning like a Cheshire cat from one ear to the other. How are you doing on Monday?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, man. It's great. 3 points, you got to grind them out. Like you mentioned there, Rebel, other teams have dropped points. And when you look at Arsenal, for example, one-dimensional, playing really well, good football, but where's their plan B? We got a great manager. Half-time against Leeds during the week, we changed things around and got the result, which is a draw. We were down, we were 2-0 down at one stage, change things around, tweak things. That's a good manager. And time it to get, again today, started a different lineup to compensate for what Leeds were doing really well. And although there's a lot of frustrations watching the games from fans and that kind of thing, in the end, he tweaked it again to get things right, and we got the results. Salute to Ten Hag, salute to what he's doing, the impact he's having on some of the players, and to our patterns of play and what we're doing here. Still a lot of problems that we have, some with personnel, some personnel not being able to suit the system or get the best as we that we want. Maybe bring the ball out, for example, play maybe Fred in midfield, these sort of things. But with what he's working with, he's doing magnificent. Second in the league, bruv. Second in the league. Rebel, I mean, how are you feeling, man? You must be buzzing.
Absolutely. Woke up this morning, grabbed a nice, hearty, full Irish breakfast down at me pops, and then drove up in anticipation of this game. And even though there is a small bit of housekeeping to talk about in the first half, 3 points is 3 points. And there's a man that's in our team, and Mans cannot stop scoring. His name is Ra 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 Marcus Rashford. But we'll get to that.
That might kick off that celebration, unless it's the one now. I don't know, but I love that what you just did there, Rebel. Brilliant.
Absolutely. I think I want to do something a little bit different with our reaction show today on Monday. I want a lot of audience participation because it's very hard to be critical when we win, but I think there's a few comments made by Roy Keane that we'd like to address maybe. But before we do that, the lineup on Monday, I just want your quick viewpoints on it, because obviously there was a surprise. We had two centre-backs on the bench, but it was Shaw that partnered Harry Maguire.
Well, the first thing is Harry Maguire coming in. I think a lot of people, I don't know if you recognise that Varane against Leeds, just for not saying Varane's a poor player, but against Leeds, he was targeted for press. They would set traps for him specifically, because the reason why is because he had difficulty spraying the ball. He's not the sort of player to get the ball and ping it from one side to the other, or play balls in between the lines. What he does, he gets the ball, carry it to a certain point, and pops it off to a certain area. That's his limitations, or that what he feels safe doing. That's how they scored their first goal, because they set a trap for him, knowing as soon as he got the ball, trapped him, forced him to play it to that certain area, which was the right back position, wherever he was. So they dictated how he should be playing. Bruno got pinched because they knew it was going there, and then they scored and counter pressed us and scored. So I think this time around, and we struggled to play out from the back that whole first half. He tweaked it at half time. So this time, how was he? What changes would he make? Would he make for the game? It was either Lindelof or Maguire to come in for Varane. I actually predicted that Maguire or Lindelof would come in based on what we saw in the first game against Leeds. So Maguire's come in strictly because he plays the ball. He can drive with the ball better. He can resist the press better when he's on the ball, I feel. And he can spray passes as well, the crossfield pass. Because obviously they play a narrow free coming forward, and they're looking to close you down. So the only outlet is not playing it into midfield. They want you to play it in midfield. Is to ping a crossfield pass. And with Maguire and with Martinez and Shaw, they can do that with left foot, granted. And with Lindelof and Maguire, they're probably better qualified to do that than Varane. That's why I feel Maguire started. Otherwise, it's a standard team, especially with the midfield, Sabitzer and Fred. Those are the only options we had.
Just, I do want to come to you briefly with regards to Fred, because obviously in the original game, he was much maligned for his passing performance that he wasn't really hitting the mark. I think it was a 63% success rate in his passing, and people were calling for him to be brought out of the team. Um, do we underestimate how much Casemiro upscales those around him, that he gets the performance that they normally take and he brings them up 1 or 2 grades?
What do you think? I think. But what do you think, Rebel? Do you think we underestimate that?
I really think we do, because this is obviously game 2 of his 3-game suspension. And while things did come out in a 3-point result for us today, I think you do notice that players seem to be a lot more confident in moving forward if they're the wing backs, or the centre backs seem to be a lot more comfortable when they have the rock that is Casemiro in front of them. Maybe it takes an element of fear or trepidation out of their performance, because they know this guy is like a chess master and he's seeing every move on the board.
Well, what I would say about that, we're playing the same system. We're not going to change the system or the way we play based on these guys missing. So the guys coming in, are they familiar? We've got Fred and Sabitzer. Sabitzer just introduced himself to the Premier League, and Fred don't really like him in those sort of positions. Maybe later on in the game he can come on, which he has been doing in recent times. But asking him to start a game in the Premiership where he's not very press resistant, he doesn't win his duels, he gets knocked off the ball a lot. Even today he was. I don't trust him in those positions to get the ball out of his feet, hold off a man, scan things, pop it out. When we've seen Eriksen and Casemiro play, the difference is there's class, absolute class. Eriksen especially, this is someone I feel we miss more than Casemiro, because he makes us tick. He plays a simple pass, builds us up, and we get possession higher up the pitch quite easier. Today we had issues where we're looking up as defenders, looking up, right, what we're going to do. All right, the only option I have to do, which is by design, is to spray a crossfield ball or play in between the lines or something. But it's risky when you're not familiar with people in front of you. And I think that was the issue. And it's got to be resolved. It's a lot better than we did on Wednesday, less stress than we had on Wednesday. But against a team like Leeds, who are busy and get about you, this is what we're going to expect. And I think the only issue is, Sabitzer's a good player, showed it in the second half, was that first goal we had. Once we played a little 1-2-3 triangle in midfield and split the play, which was by design for the first goal, that showed what we can be capable of and what we would be doing with Casemiro and Eriksen in the team. We were just perfecting that as we were going. Unfortunately, with Eriksen out and Casemiro out now, we had to start again. So there was always going to be problems with that, no matter what personnel come in after that.
Thanks very much, Monday. Now, we are going to hit the first half review a bit different, because I think there wasn't a whole pile of real top quality action, for want of a better word, in that first half. But Roy Keane, in the halftime assessment, said Bruno had the best chance of the first half, and the keeper done well to make a good save. And I think you mentioned that as well in the watch along. And he said during the first half, it was hectic, it was edgy, there was lots of bookings, but United need to be calmer and show their quality in the second half. So he was suggesting that Manchester United weren't doing themselves any favours in the way that they were kind of a bit helter-skelter in the first half. Is that an assessment that you agree with, Monday?
I can see what he's trying to say, but I was just saying my previous point about a new midfield and against a team that's very busy, physical, can run you down, pinches you in your face like Leeds. This is what they do. It's really difficult to play against them. Most teams, I've seen most top 6 teams have that same sort of difficulty. And when you got a midfield like we did today, different midfields we're not used to, I suppose getting your foot in the ball and being able to play like Eriksen and Casemiro have is difficult. So yeah, it was a difficult thing. We needed to remain calm. I know there's a lot of people moaning when we kept going playing it back to the goalkeeper and starting again, but you've got to try and draw people out when you're playing out from the back. And this is what the 2 defenders were doing. Waiting, they weren't engaged to a certain area. They were blocking off our path to see, all right, I want to pass to Sabitzer midfield. It was blocked off, and you realise there was a trap there. So you're looking to the right, then they force you to play to that area. You play it to the right back or the right midfield. They force you to play it there. It's a trap, and he has to come home again. So playing safe and consistent is what we were trying to do. And it may be a bit frustrating to the fans, but you've got to keep probing over and over again to get this right. And then you can switch to play, as we did for the goal, for example. Play a lot of football in one side of the area, one side of the pitch. They come across, camp that area, and then you can have an outfield ball to Garnacho or Sancho or Rashford, and that's what we were trying to achieve. And I think eventually with the goal, we did achieve that.
Thanks very much, Monday. Now, there is 11 wonderful people in the chat. Please do give us a like, share, and subscribe. Your support to this channel is much appreciated here on the Man United agenda. But before we kick into the second half of Monday, do you want to hit some comments there for us?
Yeah, most certainly. I want to say hi. Who's followed us with the watch along is Ed Mayham. He said from one pub to another, up the Reds. He's enjoying it all the way from Australia. Mark Edmonds said, well, the result was good. And that probably means we didn't play too well. Yo, Mark, he's getting the props. Maguire done all right in the end, says Bill Badger. A few dangerous crossfield balls. He just needs to speed up his play and give the ball to the midfielders more. Keep it simple, Harry. See, there's a lot of argument about Maguire, I think. Agreed, Bill, says Ed. He agrees with what Bill's saying, especially with Fred. Fred got man of the match according to the TV, the Sky. Bill Badger is wondering why. And they're also saying, how much does Solo pay Sky TV for that to happen? We don't know. D and Vlogs are saying, guys, I'm going to OT now for the first time to watch a game, hopefully. Brilliant. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully it's a big game for you. We're in second place. Sat in second, says Colin. 5 points behind Arsenal. They got 2 games in hand. No doubt about that. We're in it. Emma K is saying, and what came through today? Our academy. That's what we're made of. You think about it, Rashford and Garnacho, academy players scoring goals for us. We love to see that. Leicester game next, no doubt about that. Barcelona, we're coming for you. I want to go to bath time with Vaughan. He's saying, oh my God, Harry Maguire, how terrible was he? It had nothing to do with our blocks or full backs or wide forwards, did it? He's so slow. We need a sprinter that can run through everyone. You see, everyone's saying he's so slow, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, we need to make it make sense, as someone always says to me. Box says, worst performance of the season, yet we won. That's a good sign. Grafton fought hard, and we deserved this win, says Zoe Media House. Absolute fight to the end, says Emma. So there you go. Ten Hag. Veghorst as a 10 with the big eyes. She's watching Emma. She's good observations there. Most certainly. Dropped a look deeper. Rich Sports is saying, seeing loads of crazy Maguire comments on Twitter. That's what I'm saying. People love to jump on Maguire's back, but he's carrying a lot of weight, isn't he? And with all the pressure he gets for sometimes unnecessary, like today, I thought he played well. Remember 92 when Canada scored in a bunch of 1-0s? I do. This reminds me of Rashford now coming up with the goal to win the game. That's Zoe Media House taking us back in time. And we'll leave it there for now. But keep them coming in, guys. Rich Sports, big up. Make sure you check out Rich Sports' top channel. I can't hear you, so I'm just going to read this one for MUFC. He said, Realist, how you doing, Realist? He said, that was a scruffy game, like my toilet paper from Tesco. Oh, dear. Harry was slower than a Snell's funeral. Oh, dear. You're making it worse now. 3 points. Yes. Hand pink waving. Oh,
apologies. I was on mute there, but I just seen on my phone this minute a publication from the Manchester United app. Leeds United and Manchester United have just issued a joint statement. The following statement has been issued today by both sets of clubs following the Premier League fixture at Ellen Road. Both clubs strongly condemn chanting from both sets of fans regarding historic tragedies at today's game. Such behaviour is completely unacceptable, and we will continue to work together with our respective fan groups and the Premier League and other authorities on eradicating it from football. So seemingly there was some unseemly behaviour in the crowd set today. But
I think, look, we get this. This is what crowds do, especially Leeds. They're known for being quite vile at times. Their fans. I mean, it winds people up. It's trying to upset the opposition. It happens in football a lot, and we want to. You can try and cut that out, but people go there and they shout their stuff. It's hard. How do you police this sort of thing? But yeah, it's nice they make a statement to sort of cut that out and say it's not acceptable.
Absolutely. Now, before we come on to the goals, because I know you're absolutely jonesing to talk about the goals, the two initial substitutions that were made was one was that Martinez came on for Malacia, and the other one was Garnacho came on for Sancho. I think that was roughly just on the 61st minute. Now, to be fair to Malacia, I think you'll agree he ran his legs off. He was like a bull terrier, absolutely making a nuisance of himself and breaking up Leeds' play. So I'd imagine that might have been a tactical decision that he went out there and literally had nothing left by the time he's taken off. And then obviously Shaw reverted to his normal wing-back spot. But I do want to mention Sancho because mental health is something that is very much underestimated amongst the public. And obviously, it's a conversation that needs to be kept going. Not his best showing today, but I think maybe in a road where he's been rebuilt by our manager, Eric Ten Hag, you're going to have these off days. How how did you feel about Sancho's performance today? And what message would you give to him ahead of his next appearance in order to kind of get those juices flowing again?
I thought Sancho played okay. I'm not going to like trash him and say he played poor. I thought he'd done all right. He's trying to do the right things. A couple of times, he looked like he was getting doubled up on. So when he gets the ball, this is what I'm saying about being a good winger. It's when he gets the ball, you want the team to give him the ball in a situation where it's more one-on-one, or he can run onto the ball, or he can run into a space, that sort of thing. He's getting the ball in, like Anthony, where Anthony criticised a lot. He's getting the ball, and he's already faced up by 2, maybe 3 defenders. So what he has to do is like play the simple pass. A couple of times, played the simple pass, got cut out. Leeds are busy. They're all around you. Harass. I accept that. But I don't see anything bad about his decision making. His first touch is brilliant. I think if you give him the ball in the right areas, a bit like Sacco at Arsenal gets the ball on the run. He gets the ball when he's running inside. They passed him then. It's well drilled to do him that. So he's running onto the ball. So he's dribbling and running at you already. Not giving the ball stop, start. You get the ball to someone stop, start. When you're doubled up on, it's always difficult to make things happen. So that's why Sancho, he just makes the decision to pass it inside, pop it around the corner like he did midweek, and that sort of thing. That's what he does really well. So I'm not dissing Sancho. I thought he played well. Great to have him back. I think he's another addition to our forward line, which will make us stronger at this stage of the season, which is marvellous when you look at the league table at the moment.
Absolutely. No, I do want to fast forward to the goals because obviously it seemed towards the end of the game that many commentators on Twitter were saying that the fixture list was starting to show in Manchester United's legs, that they looked a bit leady, that they looked a bit slower. Now, I think you'll agree with me on Monday. It's a great complaint to be involved in 4 competitions at this stage of the year. And maybe as Ten Hag builds his squad out, he won't have this issue if we are in such a similar predicament this time next year. But I think it's only natural that if you want to be successful, that you're going to have fixture congestion. And that is just the price of doing business in football. But Marcus Rashford, he gave me the biggest smile on my face, not only because he set us on the road to 3 points, but because he took FTSN column one step closer to eating those flaming hot pepper-flavoured jelly beans that are going to absolutely blow the mind off him. But talk to me about Marcus, because it seems like he can score with his left, he can score with his right, and even when he feels like it, get that old noggin squared in.
Yeah, just going back to your point about rotation. Yeah, we're in 4 competitions. We should be loving that. It's great. We've seen the rotations. 60 minutes, he's making subs, bringing people off. We've got Dalot's just coming back from injury. He was subbed off. We've got Sancho just coming back from a spell off. He's subbed off. So we can prime these guys to get in peak condition towards the end of the season. And with the squad we've got, we're just rotating and getting them all primed for each match. Yeah, Rashford, man, on the first half, I didn't think he played too well. He was out on the left, which I thought Sancho on the right, that was the probably right way to go about it. But I just think Luke Ayling was fantastic in both games. He was just a pest, always in your face, a bit like Malacia. You turn, you get the ball, he's there, right in your face and trying to pinch you and tries to wind you up as well. Not to say Ayling had Rashford under wraps or anything. Just Rashford just couldn't get going on the left initially. But with this guy, he scores a goal a game at the moment. Since the World Cup, he's been magnificent. And with the goal, I thought the goal was great because it showed what the midfield should be doing and should have done a lot more in the game. So for once, the ball's played into midfield. I can't remember the names or who done it, but it's played in midfield. We played a little 1-2-3 between 2-3 players in midfield. Something Leeds didn't want, and Sabitzer switched the play because they had all camped over to one side. And then you got Luke Shaw on the left. He held up the man really well. And then we got Weghorst, who dropped off deeper now, and Rashford, who played more centrally, and Garnacho, and numbers in the box. There's 4 or 5 in the box at this point. Luckily, Luke Shaw held off his man, really strong. You talk about eating cakes and fast food, but he helped him out on that occasion because the guy tried to barge off the ball. Weights him off, touch, crossed with his beautiful left foot. And wow, he rose, slow motion, bam! And done a beautiful header, something I didn't know was in his locker. And he's shown us this season he has got that in his locker, score headers, especially on the run. The goal he scored against Leeds the other day, he blindsided the guy, The defender came from behind and came inside and boom, headed it. This time he just timed it. It was lovely ball, waited, lovely part, cross for him from Luke Shaw, jumped and had to put a little bit direction on it and aim and just, as I say, good morning, mean your head down in a way. He didn't blaze over the bar. Good morning, bam, into the corners. Beautiful goal. We love it. They tried to go all offside. Luckily, it was really minimal, wasn't it, when you look at the line. But Rashford is on fire. Like you said, left foot, right foot. From the right, he scores as well. Headers as well. We want to see overhead kicks just to just put a little glaze on the finishing there, man. Beautiful. I'd like to see what he thinks about what's changed his game. Hopefully, in the season, we get an interview from him to say what's really changed for you. Because this celebration, I'm still saying, is this a mental thing? Has it finally clicked for you? Has your experience matched with your physicality now? Are you becoming the most complete player? Who knows? But that was a wonderful goal. But like I say, Sabitzer moving the ball, switching the play from midfield, from a nice midfield triangle, which we did do all game. That was the key for me, which created the goal.
What I'd like to believe that his celebration is that his mindset is all plugged in and he is one with his mindset and that he's calm, he's cool, he's collected. And what Eric Ten Hag is doing is building him tactically and building him up there in the noggin. And I'd love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Now, there are 10 of you in the chat, and I am conscious that City will be kicking off, or are just after kicking off, so you probably want to be away. But we cannot finish up the show without two final items. One, Starboy, Garnacho, sat down his critics from the last game and told them, shoosh, we don't want to hear it. So just give us some praise for Garnacho. And, of course, Weggy for picking up the assist.
Yeah, so balls played. Veggie became a lot deeper now. And this is what he's good at. He can play balls around the corner, play it into his feet. It's like a pinball. Play it into his feet. Bump. It can come off anywhere. And they bring people into play. It's a great decision by the manager to play him a lot deeper. And draw. Suddenly they have to think, how do I pick him up? So Bruno played it into him quite short. He played it around the corner for Garnacho. Garnacho's in on goal. Beat into the defender. Drove into the penalty area and shot and scored. Now, Garnacho coming on late in games is the best option at the moment because the game's usually stretched by that point. We started him against Leeds the other day, and Aileen apparently had him in his pocket, but he done really well against him. Because he's always going to come up against two blocks, which is going to be difficult. So I think go back to this, bringing him on late in the game, it's going to be a lot of pressure. And he scored against Leeds. He scored against Leeds late in the game by coming on, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Him running at you is dangerous. I don't know what you guys think, but that was magnificent. 2 academy products, as Emma Kay said. So, yeah, happy about that.
Absolutely. I do want to say hello to Eddie's Football Waffle. I was checking out his show yesterday and he gave a shout out to the Man United agenda. So I would like to return that favour and say, please do check out Eddie Football Waffle's YouTube channel. It's absolutely fantastic. And I do agree with his sentiment. Rashbappe is on fire!
I big up the top 10 battles, by the way. Leicester fan here. Nice to see you joining us. I know we're playing you next week. We'll chat to Chris as well from Leicester Till I Die. So hopefully we'll be building up to that big challenge that we have against you next week.
Absolutely. Now, on Monday, while you are contemplating your man of the match, give me 5 comments from our wonderful viewers and we will then wrap up.
All right, so Emma here is saying Alien has really played it, pisses her off. And at Somerville, Guy diving again, disgusting. But they played well. Leeds, we're glad we're over with them. Were Leeds players on performance-enhancing drugs? They seem fitter, faster, stronger. That's what they said about the $1 Million Man. Maybe they've been at his clinic, the $1 Million Man. Faster, stronger, quicker, whatever. Richard Herbert, good win, hard battle, clean sheet. Plus, we know now we go to the new camp. Up the Reds, no doubt about it. And Rashford, 4th head of the season. Amazing that, isn't it? From Emma Kay.
Absolutely wonderful stat. And I think on Monday, if you said in the Leeds doubleheader that we'd have taken 4 points from it, we probably would have been quite happy given that we were missing Casemiro and obviously the Eriksen injury as well. But it's man of the match time. I am seeing a certain somebody mentioning Fred in the chat. You know who you are and you know you should be working. So keep your head down, Gaffer. But on Monday, who is it that gets it for you?
All right, it's quite simple for me. When looking at it, I think Maguire for me was man of the match. He made a couple of mistakes, made up for it, cleared his headers, was put in when he hasn't been playing much off, played the whole game. And I thought we got a clean sheet, which is marvellous. I think we know his limitations, but he showed a lot of character again, despite people in his ear saying he's rubbish, he can't play, he's too slow, too mentally slow. All this thing is a myth. It's a myth. He played really well today. That's why I'm giving him man of the match. It's not about, obviously, in the first half, I thought he's magnificent. Second half, first bit of the second half, I think a few guys made a few mistakes trying to distribute the ball, give the ball away. That's dangerous. But show character again to come back. We scored a goal at the end, which disallowed. Maguire was there. He was involved in everything. When they tried to break, when they tried to swing balls in, Maguire was there. They had a chance in the second half where the guy needed had a clean header. Maguire was there. I thought he was magnificent today. Harry Maguire, no doubt for me, was my man in the match.
So what you're saying to me is Maguire was performing the miracle of omnipresence and was just everywhere.
He played really well. When you consider it takes a lot of character with all the penalties he gets to come back in the side, a winning side, a well-drilled side, and perform. And I think we got a clean sheet. We come away with it. We can talk about little minor things, which we know he's got errors with. But overall, I thought he was magnificent today and showed by leading. We had Saliba for Arsenal, had 10 duels for headers yesterday, won none. To go and look at Maguire's stats today. Interceptions, heading, fouling even, and a halfway line to stop them from breaking. He just, I thought he'd done really well, and a credit to him. Get behind all the Man United players. I
do want to say, because I am going to use this comment just in a moment as the counterpoint, and I'm going to ask you to address it on Monday to close out the show. But as you know, I do tend to ask you questions about Maguire, and I do want to say, even though he got caught there at one point in the game, he made the effort to get back and make sure that his mistake did not lead to a goal, and he got that ball away. So credit where it's due. Maguire got the job done there. But Eddie's saying, sorry on Monday, Maguire was terrible, passed the ball away, and a better team punishes his mistakes. He's too slow. Now, just in regards to passing the ball away, it seems that issue seems to be attributed to a lot of our players on Monday. We're seeing it with Fred. We're seeing it being said to Bruno. There's that list of passing the ball away seems to be growing and growing and growing. But in a 10-hack system, is this now at this stage the cost of doing business?
Yeah, I think, look, what we need to do is have a specialist show. Anyone who's got issue with Maguire, come and see me about it, and let's talk football, because it's always the same thing. He's too slow. Like today, they're criticising pass the ball away. Luke Shaw gave the ball away. De Gea gave the ball away. That put us in trouble. Dalot gave the ball away. That put us in trouble. Fred gave the ball away. That put us in trouble. But no, it's not the same energy for that kind of thing. So I think we need to have a proper show on it just to discuss football, talk about football, and say what we see. Because I'm watching games. I've got no agenda to say Maguire, whatever. I'm judging it as a centre-back. I'm watching him and saying, right, that's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, that's a slight mistake, but you show character to make up for it. He's a big presence in our defence when we're defending. And on the ball as well, he's better than we think he is. So all this slow talk or whatever, you've got to draw people out. You've got to play the ball. He can drive with the ball. He can dribble with it. He can play crossfield passes. Once he gave the ball away, where he tried to play a crossfield pass, it didn't go to his target, but the intention was right. So all this thing about terrible, pass the ball away, all this kind of thing, I don't go with that. I just think we need to do a show. And if you're big enough and man enough to talk about it, come and see me on a show and we will arrange it. Any haters out there who want to diss Maguire, let's have a show, personal show on it, and let's talk football.
Absolutely. Now, 13 of you wonderful people in the chat, I do want to thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts here in the United Agenda for joining us today. I do wish you all a absolutely fantastic Sunday evening. It is Super Bowl Sunday for those that are also interested in the American football. And I can tell you as well that Aston Villa are currently 1-0 down against Manchester City. So an early goal from Rodri off an assist from Riyad Mahrez is what is after occurring there. But please do join us again tomorrow, where I believe our man on the scene, Andy Tate, will be hosting on the Monday show. But that is it from us. Have a very good evening.
Thanks, guys.